Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Football Fever. I'm Alan Mandel of the Killeen Daily Herald, and I'm joined by our three born and bred Texas football experts, Jordan Mason, Albert Alvarado, and Clay Whittington. And let's get right at it. It's a huge week in Class 4A and Class 3A. Jordan, LaGrange at Salado. We're talking about a 9-0 team against a team that hasn't won a game yet. Can Salado pull off this upset?
Well, most people obviously are going to say no. The team that hasn't won any games isn't beating the team that hasn't lost any games. But it's high school football. I saw an incredible game last week with Waco La Vega and Lampasas, and Lampasas really gave it to a La Vega team that had some impressive victories this season, so you never know. But what's encouraging for Salado is if you pull that upset off, you're basically in the playoffs. They've talked about it all season. They just need one. And they've also, even after this game, they've got Smithville on the last game of the season. They have yet to win a district game as well. So a good chance to get some good vibes going in this game against LaGrange. Obviously, being undefeated, and they've been pretty untouchable in district. But if you can go in there and play well, get some good offense going with Jacob Little and Jacob Quick, and maybe get some better defense too. That's probably going to be key in these next two games deciding their playoff phase. Can they get some stops when they need them? But if you can get the good vibes going in this game, maybe even get a win, you can find yourself with a playoff spot here in 2 weeks when the regular season ends. So that's pretty much what you got to figure Salado is looking for going into this one.
Well, we'll be rooting for the Eagles. Clay, China Spring at Lampasas, obviously a must-have win for Coach Emerson and the Lampasas Badgers, correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way around it. This is their season. If they want to make the playoffs, they have to win this game. They coming off Jordan talked about it, a heartbreaking loss last week to La Vega. They were up 28-7 in the first quarter, let it get away, lost 43-42 in overtime, and that was pretty devastating for their playoff hopes. But in this district, the way it's shaping up right now, I mean, it could literally come down to the last week, and every team in the district have a chance. But for that to happen, Lampasas has to win, and then for them to make the playoffs after that, they still need help. But they're not really concerned about any scenarios. They know all they can handle is this one game, and that's what they're focused on is this one game. It's not going to be easy. They trotted out Spencer Maples last week in place of Todd Phillips, who was lost. Team's leading rusher lost for the season the week before, and he went out and put up 220 yards rushing, season high for any Lampasas player this year. So he had an impressive performance, but they're gonna have to maintain that, and they're gonna have to do it against a good team that's going to be wanting some revenge against them. Lampasas upset them last year, and what was Coach Emerson's defining win to that point. They knocked him off, but last year they had 2,000-yard rushers that they don't have this year. They still got a strong running game, but they don't have, like I said, I mean they've lost pieces. They're still trying to find new solutions to fill in those holes. So they've got some work to do, but they have to make it happen. I mean, one way or another, they have to make it happen this week.
Okay, and another team that really has to make it happen is Gatesville. They're home. Robinson's coming into their ballpark. What are your thoughts, and what do the Hornets need to do to pull off this win?
Yeah, they have to. First off, they have to put the Burnett loss behind them. I mean, they got throttled last week pretty hard, 57-0, and they have to put that behind them. They have to move on from that. These are kids, and kind of like we were saying earlier, some things linger with kids, whereas it's easy for a coach to say, forget it, put it behind you. But for a kid who was out there on the field, busting his hump and to walk away with no points, I mean, that can be disheartening. So main thing they have to do is get their minds right heading into this game. Robinson's no slouch. They're big, they're physical. Gatesville is going to be at a size disadvantage in most positions. So it's an uphill battle. They can still work their way into the playoffs even with a loss here, but a win would be tremendous for them. So they're going to go in and they're going to try and get that win and not let it come down to the last week of the season. But they've got their hands full. But at home, final home game, they've got a lot of seniors on the squad that want to leave that stadium in style. So it's going to be an interesting contest, and kind of like Lampasas, a win here is almost a must-have for them.
Okay, thank you, Clay. And speaking of must-have wins and facing a tall task, let's talk about Florence, Albert. Cameron Yo comes to Stampede Stadium. What does Florence need to do to pull off this upset win?
Oh man, a lot of things need to go right for Florence. I mean, obviously they've been right there in every district game. It's just, closing out the deal, as Joey McQueen said. Just find a way to win. That's easier said than done. I mean, Florence, right now in district standings, they're still not eliminated from playoff contention. But in order to do that, you have to beat the two-time defending state champion this week, and then go and try to beat a very good ranked Rockdale team on the road the next week. So it is a tall order, but going to Florence this week, stopping in practice, the guys are still upbeat. Coach McQueen said Monday and Tuesday, those are two of the best practices all year. So that shows a lot of character. These kids, they obviously they know where they're at. They know that things haven't gone their way during district play, but they're still there. Another thing is those seniors, man. I mean, those seniors kind of helped bridge the gap between the two tenures of two head coaches. So I think a lot of those kids, a lot of the underclassmen know that they might be building for next year, but they want to help those seniors go out with at least a good good performance here. Not obviously not saying that Florence will shock the world, but at least a good performance.
Well, let's hope so. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Clay. And thank you for watching Football Fever. We'll see you here next week.